another Pretty Ugly video. Today I'm actually joined on the sofa by my mum, who doesn't realise that we're actually filming. Mum?
Sorry.
So my mum is joining me on the sofa today for a Q&A. In light of it being Mother's Day in a few days, and also the fact that we are doing a really exciting beauty campaign together with a brand that we can't reveal as yet, but it will be going live in a few days. So we're going to kickstart with some questions first of all. Okay, so Mum, kicking off with the questions, what is your best memory of me as a child, baby, toddler?
Okay, besides the fact the first moment I saw you, of course, which was the most beautiful child I'd ever seen. It's this
child.
Yeah. It's this vision of you when you're toddling down the garden, probably about 19, 20 months old, sunny day, little swimsuit on, and these little chunky thighs wobbling down the garden.
Thunder thighs.
But just so cute, so sweet. Curls bouncing around.
I did have really curly hair, didn't
You
I?
did. Yeah, little
this is
ringlets.
my hair naturally today.
Ringlets until
straight.
you're about 3, I suppose. And obviously I used to trim it, so you had a very nice...
She used to put a bowl on my head.
That's such
and
rubbish.
cut around it.
I didn't. I just
had a bowl.
I cut a
haircut.
fringe, but as you know, I don't have a very steady hand.
Yeah. So this is how she was cutting my hair.
Anyway, cute.
Moving on. What's the worst thing or naughtiest thing I did as a toddler or baby?
You were never really naughty, but there were just a couple of things that you did that I'm not really sure if they were accidents or not. Like Charlotte's in a car seat.
Charlotte's my younger sister. She's how many months younger than me is she?
15 months difference. I think Charlotte was probably about 6 months old, sitting in a car seat, all ready to go out. And I just turned to lock the back door. Gab clambers up onto the work surface, and somehow Charlotte's car seat fell.
From quite a height, wasn't
it? Yeah, work surface in the kitchen, so 3 or 4 feet high, onto a marble floor. Thankfully, she was fine.
Responsible parent, had done the car seat up.
Yeah, obviously she was strapped in, so she was absolutely fine. So I think it was an accident, but then 7 years later, you broke her nose. So I'm not sure.
I'm not supposed to say that.
And now they're the best of friends.
Well, so
Charlotte's not here actually to answer that.
She's not here to support that. Who do I take after most? You or my dad? Or what traits do I get from you, maybe?
I think you're a good mix of both of us. I think from me, you probably get the slightly wild streak, that you're a bit of a party animal, work hard, play hard, and
Always.
Obviously ultra glamorous.
Very.
From your dad, it's the Latin looks, it's the gorgeous skin tone, it's the...
Falling asleep,
yeah, narcolepsy.
I do have the odd narcoleptic attack.
And he's a lot brighter than me, so I think you probably get your intellect from him.
Do not let him hear you say that.
But yeah, I think probably I'd have to admit that, yeah.
And work ethic I get from you.
Oh, absolutely.
Mum's an absolute workaholic. She has built a business up from the ground. She's in marketing and advertising, and she works like a dog all day, every day, all night. She survives on about 3 hours sleep. And although I don't work quite that hard, I think I get my work ethic from you.
Yeah, I think you do. But if you're doing something you love, then you find endless amounts of energy. I wouldn't recommend 3 hours sleep because you'll end up, looking like this.
Aging before your time.
Yeah,
Not that you've done that.
Because I'm actually only 35.
So, have I always been a beauty obsessed girl in terms of loving makeup and hair and
a definite girly girl, even from the age of 3 when I found Gab making her own potions and face packs on the kitchen floor. I came in, she'd opened the cupboards and there's flour, sugar, cream, olive oil, any product she could find, mixing into a nice paste, really pushing it into the tiles on the floor. And then as she turned around when I said, "What are you doing?" she had it in both hands and she was rubbing it on her face. So I think that's probably an early face pack.
I would say so. So do we know what each other's guilty pleasures are? I mean, I would say you've got a bit of an obsession with Pierce Brosnan.
Thank you, Mr.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Yeah.
In terms of...
A healthy obsession, though, I think.
Healthy, but in terms of, it's not a James Bond obsession.
No, I do
It's
kind of
Pierce
like...
Brosnan as James Bond obsession.
Yeah.
Although,
But I also like him in the Thomas Crown Affair.
you like him in everything.
Yeah, apart from he has a bit of a funny run, but then I don't run anyway, so it doesn't matter.
So, what about mine?
Your guilty... Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure of your guilty pleasure. I think there's a couple of actors that you are rather fond of in the American criminal dramas that you watch.
Yeah, music-wise.
Oh, music. Well, I'm not sure you want to admit to your guilty...
I've admitted to it before. I will admit
Michael
to it again.
Bolton. You definitely
Hero.
don't get that. You definitely don't that from me. That's definitely your dad.
Michael Bolton is a hero, and I will not hear
It's the hair.
anything other said.
Yeah.
Steel Bars is my favourite song of all time. Okay, we're going to do a quick fire round now. So it is literally, Mum, a second for each answer.
The first thing that
We're going
comes
to
into your head.
Yep. So I'm going to go first. Peanut butter or Marmite?
Marmite.
Your turn.
Champagne or Prosecco?
Prosecco.
Go.
I'm failing. Heels or flats?
Heels.
Your turn.
Big pants or thongs?
Thongs. Always thongs. Oh God. Michael Jackson or Michael Bolton?
Michael Jackson.
Right, this is a hard one. Whoever sent us this one. One word that sums each other up. And we have to, again, you always have to just blurt it out. You can't think about it.
Oh, goodness.
Shall I go first?
I think that's really hard.
It doesn't have to be the epitome of that person. It's almost the first word that comes to mind. It might not be a good word.
Okay. For me,
So,
first word that comes...
Shall I go for you? So this is my word for you.
Go on.
Controlling. Ooh. Mum's word for me?
Okay, well, I was...
See, now this is going to change the tactics. Now she's going to go down the
I was going to
negative
say
route.
gorgeous, because I just think everything about you is gorgeous.
But I don't think it's a bad thing that you're controlling. You have control over every aspect of your life, which is a good thing. If you had a lack of control, you wouldn't be as successful as you are.
Maybe. But I think, I wouldn't have used that
That was
word.
my first word that came for you.
Okay.
So there's a plethora of other words, but I stole that word from Luke. He used that this morning. Controlling.
So, tell me something I don't know about you.
I would say you probably don't know amongst my friends what my reputation is like on a night out. And it's nothing bad. In fact, the only thing I am known for on a night out is falling asleep, which I get from my dad. So I will fall asleep on the table in the bar, in the toilets. In fact, all my friends know that if I've gone missing, I've not gone home with anyone, I've not left, I've not gone anywhere, I will just be asleep on the toilet in the bar or club. My friend Greg in particular is renowned for having to come into the ladies' toilets at the end of a night to come and find me.
Thank you, Greg.
I mean, falling asleep on trains. You know, when I was living back home in Hertfordshire, I'd get the train home at night, and I would routinely wake up in Birmingham, which is the last stop for Hertfordshire, or whereabouts in Hertfordshire we live. And I'd be without my handbag because that would have been stolen whilst I was asleep. Or there was even a time I had my sandwich stolen off my lap whilst I was asleep. Next question. Our most used facial expression at each other. That's easy.
Oh,
that's
easy.
definitely definitely that one. We do that at each other all the time. So, next question, which is more difficult. What's our most used emoji to each other over text?
Oh, well, I don't use that many emojis.
You love an emoji.
Well, yeah, but I don't have a lot of them because unless I've got my glasses on, I can't actually see what they are. So I do tend to put the wrong one in quite often.
So I would say my most used emoji to my mum is either the eye roll, or it's not actually an emoji, it's an asterisk, because mum doesn't read her messages before she sends them.
No, I haven't got my glasses
So
on.
they don't make sense. In fact, they sound like she's drunk on a daily basis because they make that little sense. So yeah, either the eye roll or the asterisk. But for your emoji to me...
Oh, it's always the blow and kiss one.
Oh, sweet.
Said with real sentiment. Yeah, sweet.
Maybe it is. To wrap this up, our last question for each other is, what is our proudest moment for both of us. So what's my proudest moment of you?
Yeah, and
and
mine
vice
of you.
versa.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's going first?
You can go first.
Well, I think there's loads of proud moments because as a mum, you just have all those milestones, you know, Brownie jumping the toadstool at school, standing up on stage, getting a certificate, sports day, winning the high jump.
Church choir.
No, I wasn't particularly proud, no. That's not really what you're cut out to do, clearly. Singing is not your thing.
Okay.
But also it's school prom and just watching you walk up on stage, picking up an award, and that just keeps on going because then it was at the Cosmo Awards and then the Johnson & Johnson. So I have loads of proud moments just watching you achieve all these things, and I just think that's just going to go on and on and on. So I think I'm going to be eternally proud.
Why, thank you. My proudest moment, I think, it's not one standout moment. I think, as I touched on earlier, Mum has her own business. She's in advertising and marketing. And being the eldest, how old was I when you first set up Zing? It was a long time ago. And I just remember I remember the whole, timeline of Zing marketing. And I remember from the very beginning to where my mum is now. And I think what is a standout for me is seeing her build up a business from nothing. She now has employees working for her. She now works with brands that I know of. And for me, I think that is not only something to be very proud of, but it's also something to aspire to. And it's definitely, like I said previously as well, in terms of work ethic, I get that from my mum. But yeah, it definitely is the proudest moment for me as a whole, seeing her build a whole business from the ground up. So yeah, if anyone has any advertising and marketing needs, Zing Marketing. Well, I said that was the last question, but there's one more.
Okay.
Just one more. This is something I've done on camera before. Mum, can you dab?
Can I dab?
Can you dab?
You mean, can I do that?
A dab? Please do that again. Do it again. That's a dab. Do it again.
Is it a dab?
Let's do it again.
Hang on.
Well, that's the end of our video. We've come to the end of our questions. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you know my mum much better now as well as me.
That I can dab.
And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos.